Good evening, the people of Biafra, and also good morning and good afternoon. Depends on your time and your location that you are watching Biafra TV. Anything we are doing here is real and legit. That is one of the most important that we must understand, and we are not sounding the way others are sounding. We sound another different way that nobody is sounding. That's what makes us real, and we are different from anywhere you go today. So, once again, I welcome you this evening. I welcome you as you come in. Next thing to do is to like and share the program as a true Biafra who believe that it is real, who believe that what it is real. So, I urge you to like and share now that I have welcomed you officially in this hallowed platform. It's your first time seeing us on live program. You will see a three dots in front of your top of your phone. Then just open that three dots. It will see like and share. Immediately you share, subscribe so others may know that we are live and we are direct this evening from my location. That's why I said good evening to Mazi Nnamdi, the president of United States of Biafra. Good evening to Mas Simon Ekpa, the prime minister of United States of Biafra. Good evening to my DPM, Dr. Ngozi Orabueze, the chief of staff. Good evening, all the Biafran's commanders. From my location, I say in English language, Moisa, to you all. So, my fellow Biafrans, I salute you all and I greet you all. As you come in, please like and share as you join us so we can preach this redemption of hope. And we can sound the way we sound because we are different opinion. We are different movement from what other people are doing. Here, we present it to you the way it is, without missing word, without romancing word. I told you that Nigeria government is a lawless country. Nigeria did not care about our life because of how the country was made up. A country that is not a father land, is not a motherland, not uncle land. Whose uncle? Nobody's land. Where everybody comes in and do as they like. If you think of what Nigeria government passed through to kidnap Mazi Nnamdi, and you see on top of their holding Mazi Nnamdi and put you to arrest Simon Ekpa, then you may understand what is happening. What is happening is not what we will fold our hand and he said, oh, God will do it for you. God has given you way, the understanding for you to go and do it, and he will be there to help you. So the question should be, are you helping yourself before God will come and help you? You are calling Donald Trump to come and help you. Are you helping yourself? The measure, the yardstick that the criteria that America passed through before they where they are today, are you ready to go to that extent? This is the question you may ask yourself. These are things that you may tell yourself. Then, that is the only time that you are going to understand what is playing out. And by then, you will be more serious and focused. You will be more determined and determined. There is difference between determined and determined. These two words has different meaning. You might determine along the road you stop, but when you determine that to do this thing, nothing will stop you from achieving that goal that is in your mind. That is when you, what I will call it, determined. My fellow Biafrans, also I want to tell you that this our program today is an open mic. At any time you want to call, you are free to call me and tell me and tell Biafrans or the world what you think that is going on. Where you may understand the deep hole that you are into is the deep hole that after you pass it, you must close it. That is where we are. You can see the protest that is going on. Hashtag Free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu protest that is going on. You use this particular protest to know what one Nigeria means. That's what I told you in my headline. One Nigeria means death sentence to the indigenous people. That is what one Nigeria means in our life. Death sentence. Whenever you accept to be a one Nigerian, you are putting yourself on death sentence that nobody will interfere. When it happens, your people will only cry and shout and lament. That is what they know about us. The coming of Britain makes us to become people that are lamenting, shouting. That is all we care. That is all we can do. So please remember, as you come in, endeavor to like and share the program so other people know that we are live and we are there this evening to preach this message of hope and this message of redemption that can change one or two in your life, that can make you understand who you are. That is why we are here. So I urge you once again, if you never like the program, please like, comment, and share. Also, feel free to call me anytime you want. Feel free to put a call through that we are going to allow you to put your own thinking and your own words into what we are doing. So, my fellow citizens of Biafra, you have seen what is going on about the protests. And I stand here to tell you the other day that Nigeria are not ready to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu can only be released that way, that every hero, that every leader, that every president who fought for a new country, who was kidnapped or was arrested before official declaration of that new country. That is how he's going to come out. He is coming out is in your hand, in my hand. I keep on raising this voice every day to always to remind you that Mazi Nnamdi has passed Rubicon. The Rubicon we have passed is where only the name of our country, having our land is what will release him. Hey. You see, when I talk, I said, hey, that means people refuse to adhere to important issues. People that have never served Nigeria, people that have never worked under Nigeria, will not understand what Nigeria serves and what Nigeria means. But if you have served one Nigeria, if you have come close deeply to one Nigeria, that is when you understand why I am raising my voice to always to remind you that the freedom of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is in our hand, is in your hand, is in my hand. If you're not on social media, what you do out there matters. If you are on social media, what you do also represents bringing out of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. What the international global community, those that are listening to your news, what they have been hearing is what matters most, because it draws attention. What you do must be something that is drawing the attentions of the world. If you are not doing that, you must ask yourself a question. how can Mazi Nnamdi Kanu come south? The awareness must continue. Awareness of what? Releasing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu through protests, through social media, through the government also. This is all that we have to do right now, and nobody will do it for us. Many countries in the past has done their own in the past. That's why I told you, are you ready to walk on that road that other countries who get their independence pass through? There is no shortcut for freedom of a new country. It's a very long, stressful, wicked, long way to get a new country. So if you have made up your mind, if you have decided to stood up to fight for yourself, then you will understand what is happening, what is playing out. The lawless country called Nigeria, the meaning, death sentence, that is the meaning of one Nigeria. They did not care about you. They did not think about you. They only care about themselves and how those that handed them the country over, what they want them to do. Those visitors who handed them over one Nigeria, what they want them to do is what they care for, not what benefits you and not even your opinion, because your opinion was not consulted when Nigeria was amalgamated. That is why they approved it to you, that you were a raw stranger, and they passed judgment on your head by calling one Nigeria, that is where you belong, simply mean death sentence. We will go in and see the videos that are coming out from the so-called the protest that's going on. We are going to be playing those videos, so you yourself can be relating and be asking why that all this kind of thing is happening. That is what you must do. Those on the protests are suffering today, but let them do it more. The question is, after today, what next? After this protest, what next is the question. What can we do more after this protest? What are we going to do? That is one that you will start thinking now. I said what? That is one thing that you must start thinking about. The lawless country, the one Nigeria means death sentence to every indigenous people is what you must join us as United States of Biafra to remove yourself from that. This one Nigeria means death sentence to every individual and every citizen. That is the area that I want you to go into it. That is one that we at this time that we are into, that you must know your whereabouts and what is happening to you and what is going on. Nothing that is going on except their plan. Remember the way they kill people in Nigeria, their former president or some of their past ex-presidents in Nigeria, people like Abiola. That is the method they choose on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. But it will not happen. Do you know why? Because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is above human destruction. The Chukwu Okabiama who brings him into this world, he is the only one keeping his life, not by any human, not by any other person. So you that are out there shouting, raising your voice, we understand everything that I'm saying today. That thing called one Nigeria is what? Death sentence to every indigenous person. Then the only thing that are going to remove the death sentence on your neck or in your life is United States of what? Biafra. Yes, I see your comments. Keep it coming. I see your name. Thank God. You're welcome. I see God is with me. You're welcome. I greet you from here. Good evening, my brother or my brothers. You're welcome. So, we have everything it takes right now to help you to remove death sentence when you help yourself by supporting the movement of United States of Biafra as only hope for you who still believe in that one Nigeria simply means death sentence. That is the new name of Nigeria. No, that is the meaning of Nigeria. When you see everything that is going around, when you see the level of the protests and what they are doing to the Protestants, then you may understand they have sentenced Mazi Nnamdi already. They also want to sentence you along with him. Let us understand these facts that needed our attention to be understanding. The question is, after today, as you can understand, they are not going to release him. What next? My own is that I always think of what we end what I am doing, not what we start it or the beginning. I always think about the end. So let's see the videos that are coming out, and so let us analyze what is going on in Nigeria. Then you may understand why Nigeria is what? Death sentence to every indigenous person. We move.
Right now, I don't run back. You are called the acting, remember is acting as the IG. You got
This is Sowore, who is not a Biafran, calling for protest on behalf of a Biafran president, Mazi Nnamdi.
He's been detained at the force FCT command, and also Kanu's brother, his younger brother, who's also been detained. And yes, lawyers, and several other persons at Apple that were illegally detained by police during this very peaceful protest. That's why we are here.
What have the responses been like?
Well, today was massive success. The only thing is that we are going to announce a new date again. And that one will be, we have seen now that we can shut down this Abuja. And you know Abuja, not even the Federal High Court where we're supposed to go and defend our case today, sat. Because everywhere was shut down. And we are happy that Uma here shuts down. Massive protests everywhere. So you better understand now that we are not joking. We are not playing.
Mr. Sowore, I mean, this way, a rat race, if you call it that, since money not on the we said that the police and the security agencies were particularly looking for not just you, but other organizers of the protest. Is it an irony that you're standing right now, right here in front of the protest protesters? Yes, nobody. You can't come.
Each time I get arrested, I volunteer myself. There's never a time the police wanted me that I did not show myself, make myself available. They are not looking for protesters or organizers. They are trying to crack down on organizers. And I know the reason. The new guy they just brought, they call him Mila Kawai. He's trying to please Tinubu and the illegal IG here. and wicked. That's why he's doing this. But we have said this. We have seen worse policemen before. I see them. Some of them are university days. They are the same people we are fighting for who are retired now. No gratuity, no pension. So they'll be doing, be doing bad things to your people. One day you will face the consequences.
But Maxwell, sir, you were at the FCT police command earlier today. Think of the
Discuss that when we get there.
Nigerians that we are
We are asking the IG to release
they say that they have court order and we should not be in the central area. You left central area, you went to Potato side. They used tear gas and rubber bullets to attack innocent Nigerians.
Hearing
Most of them in Abo who are protesting. They have arrested all of them, including Mazi and Nnamdi. They have been arrested. We went to FCT Police Command. They said no, it's a national issue. In fact, the PRO there was very rude. I must say it. He was very, very rude. He was insulting me. I know that girl is not qualified to be a herself. After the insult, he said that I should come here. He contacted the first PRO, CS Benjamin. I've been calling him. The sales general said that he should come. I've been here now calling him. I will ask them at the gate. They said that he should call him. I don't know whether he doesn't pick the call. He's not saying his phone. I've sent him a test. We are here now.
Tell him to take the call. The last person we know they take call for him. He did for Delta now.
Those people cannot sleep in any cell in Nigeria.
Never.
This is not Banana Republic for goodness sake. You can't say because you have 2 years to be here and you are acting as if you are in Banana Republic. People who have seen police officers. Where is that President Johnson?
Yes.
What he did is Idris.
Yeah.
The one who said eyeglasses bigger than his Idris, Haruna, name them, Suleiman Abba. That's all gone. Do you think that the point has been made and the message? We continue to deliver the message because he's a president, he's a product of protest. I participated in a protest with him there in Ojota. It's a product of protest for goodness sake. Had it been that Jonathan refused to hand over, heaven will not fall. Heaven will not fall. If Jonathan said I'm not handing over, not heaven will not fall, but he handed over for peace to reign. Had it been that Buhari did not come and hand over, will he be a president? Why do you want to destroy the system because of the president? A Democrat like you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I'm very disappointed.
The president is not a Democrat. Not calling him a Democrat.
As a student, I participated in a protest with you. Why should you want to kill people because they are protesting? Peaceful protest. Look at police officers. I want the people protesting for police officers. Their welfare. And the money is supported to police officers. Go and ask those that look at how their life is. It's ridiculous. You can't use your brain. You are asking people when we were here protesting for your salary.
I hope you had it here. Those protesters have been arrested. They arrested Prince Meme, brought to Mazi Nnamdi. They arrested Aloy Ejimako and other people. Not even only that, they even used tear gas on them. They used their gun that made Nigeria one, because Nigeria is only one country in the name of gun. And also, when it comes to the citizens, they pass Nigeria means death sentence. Today, check on the protest. Somebody must die today. They have killed somebody today. At least one Nigeria. They have wounded some people today. Some people will not be able to stand up after this protest. That is why we told that this is a death sentence. That you don't open your mouth and say you are one Nigeria. You are bringing darkness to your life and you are sentencing yourself to death. A country where people cannot protest. They have tried to. Today, Nigeria have brutalized the protesters all over the world, all over the amalgamation country called Nigeria, the death sentence called Nigeria. They have brutalized many people today. They have did all manner of things they know how to do. The only thing the Nigerian how to do is how to do evil, how to buy people, how to disgrace people, how to suppress people, how to intimidate people. That is what you see today. That's why I told you that that thing you are looking for is not a country. It's a death sentence to the indigenous people, why it is a life to the Fulanese, their caliphate, and the Boko Haram, and all of that follows them at back. I want to know that everything that's happening on that protest today was well orchestrated from Nigerian women. That is their pattern of who Nigeria is. That is the pattern of who Nigeria is, a killer. Nigeria is a killer squad. That is why we call Nigeria death sentence. Once you said you are Nigeria, you are passing sentence of death to yourself, either by hanging or by gun and bullet. It's not happening to die in Nigeria. All the people that Fulanis are killing, all the people that Boko Harams are killing, what killed them? Gone. And bullets. But there's an exemption. There is a hope. There is a life hope, which is United States of Biafra, that was officially declared on November 12, 2024. That is the real hope you have today. Let us go down and listen to the IG police and who they are. Their brother was so he want to let his master, he want to please his master. So Koto give him job. Tell me in that world where you see protests that's going on, the military comes out. Not it's only in Africa. And that is what they bring to us. And they are the one instigating this violence happening in time of protest. Britain is the one instigating it. Because that is who Britain. Britain only know how to instigate, how to do things that will torture people, and where they go on their own, they will tell you they have free law. This is democracy. The expression of word is free. But what happened to them because they are afraid of losing their business. Britain is afraid of losing their business enterprise called Nigeria. That is why you see them doing what they are doing till today. They prefer lose all the citizens of the land, but for them to continue making their profit. Because in the 19th centuries, they threw our fathers, our mothers inside big rivers, inside oceans, tie them chain, throw them in there. When they could not be able to finish us in the 1980s or in the first centuries, they come back again with the name of Call One Nigeria to try if they can wipe us away, but Chukwu Okeabiyama said no to them. The protests that are going on is only on one thing: justice, equity, and fairness for all of them who believe in one Nigeria. But that's why using them of Mazi to do that. We all must understand that Nigeria is a death sentence. Or do you understand it? Then you will walk away from Nigeria. Nigeria is not for you, Charlie boy. Nigeria is not for you. Anybody who is there. Nigeria is not for you. Are you still doubting it? You better believe it after you have seen how the protest works out. Let us listen for another bit of show also. What goes down today.
Want to get the coolest stuff from the best online stores around the world, but they don't deliver to your address? Meet
People want to go. Yes. Because I cannot imagine that 2025, under a democratic government, I will be tear gassed for participating in peaceful protests. Yes. No, I don't fight so that people will appreciate me. I fight because my conscience tells me I'm doing what is right. You understand? Even as I'm speaking with you, the lawyer to Nnamdi is being pushed into the cell. His younger brother is being pushed to the cell. And we are warning the new commissioner of police, because I heard he was brought purposely to come and do this, that he will be disgraced like those who came before him. He must release Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer, Aloy Ejimako, and his brother, Fine Boy Kanu. We will mobilize everybody down to that FCT. And it will be very, very unfortunate if he doesn't do that. Free Nnamdi Kanu now! Free Nnamdi Kanu! Free Nnamdi Kanu! Free Nnamdi Kanu!
Hope you heard this clearly. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer, Aloy Ejimako, has been arrested by Nigeria police. Administrator.
massive success.
And also the younger brother of Mazi
only
Nnamdi Kanu, Prince Meme,
is that
all of them are into
we are going to announce
sell
a new
right
date
now in
again.
Abuja.
And that one will be. We have seen now that we can shut down this Abuja. And you know Abuja, not even the Federal High Court where we're supposed to go and defend our case today sat, because everywhere was shut down. And we are happy that Umar here shut down. Massive protests everywhere. So Tinubu better understand now that we are not joking. We are not playing.
It's a rat race, if we call it that, since money not money. We said that the police and the security agencies were particularly looking for not just you, but other organizers of the protest. It am I right that you're standing?
Let us take it from the channel television.
Well, let's head over to the nation's capital, Abuja, where the Free Nnamdi Kanu protests is holding. We have images now from Abuja. You can see the presidential candidate and publisher of Sahara Reporters, Mr. Moyele Shore, protesting with some people earlier today, this morning actually. And you can see the heavy security presence right there in the nation's capital, Abuja. And you'll see just in a few seconds, there'll be shots in the air. I understand tear gas was fired as well.
Nigeria government shot in the air. Let the world hear it. Nigeria government is from channel television. Nigeria government shot the protesters from the air. And also do what? Throw them tear gas. Because of what? Free protest of release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. That is their crime. That they ask to release a man who did not committed any crime. But those who committed crime were pardoned. They are eating, drinking, dancing with the Nigerian government. Let's continue.
Some of the protesters scamper to safety. So these are images from moments ago coming from the nation's capital, Abuja, where that protest held. And we'll just allow you to listen in, and we'll continue the conversation.
Do you hear that? Do you hear it? Harassing God. Try to shoot the protestants. This is where the world need to come in and revoke Nigeria's territorial integrity.
Can you walk us through where did that happen and what exactly played out there?
Well, we were starting the protest at in front of the Transcorp Hotel, and this huge contingent of police came, army, civil defense, and then we started telling them that we're not their enemies. It's not about them. And suddenly, from nowhere, they started shooting at us. Tear gas. There were some live bullets fired, but luckily enough, I don't think anybody was hit with a live bullet. But they were just shooting all around us. Eventually, they did arrest some people. I heard Nnamdi Kanu's younger brother was arrested and beaten, and his lawyer Jimoko, was also arrested and beaten. They've all taken them to the FCT command.
A lawyer was arrested and beaten.
Can you walk us through what exactly was did you have a conversation? Did they approach you and say,
no, I was
you
actually trying to, I was talking to them. They didn't particularly have any leadership. There were about 10 trucks, some of them gun trucks, that arrived at the same time as soon as we started the protest and people were coming around. So there was no provocation on our part. Like we had promised, was an orderly protest. It was peaceful, but it was an unprovoked attack from the police force, and I would say combined team of security people in the city.
So the build up to this moment is something I want you to speak to. We'll come back to what played out today. So the Honorable Justice M.G. Umar had ordered, given some orders saying the respondents are hereby restrained in the interim from protesting in the following areas: Aso Rock Villa or anywhere close to the villa, the National Assembly, Force Headquarters, Court of Appeal, Eagle Square, and Shehu Shagari Way, pending the hearing of the motion. And then some other orders were given. The police had said, well, we don't think this should hold. NSCDC also said, we don't think this should hold in these areas. But you said you held this particular one close to Transcorp, which I don't think is in that order. What did you expect from security operatives? Were they meant to give you protection or sort of ensure that the protest is lawful or at least doesn't break the peace? What was your expectation from the security operatives?
Well, not only did we plan this as a peaceful protest, we actually had the lawyer inform them, even though it is a constitutional right not to inform the police, not to take permission from the police to protest. But we did inform them officially so that they can provide protection to the protesters, because they always claim that protest is hijacked by hoodlums or whomever it is. But you can now see who the hoodlums were today. The security agencies that otherwise should have done the job of protecting the protesters.
So you heard it clearly, before we go on, that the Nigeria police are the what? The Nigeria Army, Nigeria Navy, all of them, they are the hijackers of the protest.
Mr. Shuare, we heard the gunshots not so long ago, and that was quite scary. Please confirm to us that all the protesters in your team are safe before I proceed with my next question.
Well, we haven't seen them yet. We had to leave the scene and move to a safer location. But I've just reported to you that some protesters were arrested. Some of them bystanders forced into a police vehicle, many police vehicles, beaten right there on the scene, and then driven to the Force Police Headquarters. The FCT Police Headquarters in Abuja. So we haven't been able to confirm if everybody's safe at this point.
Also, Aloy Jimakot, the lawyer to Nnamdi Kanu that you mentioned earlier, and his brother were on your protest team.
Yes, they were part of the people with me, yes.
All right. Some other protesters, we've seen them last week against your protest. I'd like you to speak to that because they were brandishing pictures of, people from the Southeast who had died as a result of the sit at home and the violence, the phenomenon of unknown gunmen, and had said, look, Nnamdi Kanu is not a man that should be released by the federal government. I'd like you to speak to that.
The fact that people have the right to say what they want to say is not something I'm against. But other people who feel differently also have the right to express their position. So what we have told the federal government or those prosecuting Nnamdi Kanu is that in 4 years, if he killed anybody, if he molested anybody, how is it that they don't make it to the courtroom? He's been in detention since 2021. Why can't you present this evidence to the judge? Nobody did that. Everybody's just making up stories here and there, and nobody's talking about the 28 people that were killed in his father's compound. Nobody's talking about, all the villages that have been burned down by the Nigerian army because they claim that IPOB is an illegal organization. Nobody's talking about the rights of all the people that are clamped into detention, several of them in a place they call Wawa Barracks. So are those people not human beings as well? You go and provoke people who are peacefully asking for a different country, who are asking for self-determination because they asked for a referendum. And then you start blaming them for further violence that you visited upon them. And you want to be blackballing and blackmailing everybody with it. But you had the right to present your own case. Give other people who feel differently, who are now in the majority, a chance to also present their own view about the trial. We see a sham trial here, and you're talking about people who went and printed some pictures, and nobody's talking about what the federal government has done in terms of the killings in the Southeast, the violation of human rights, the violation of the dignity of members of an organization that is merely calling for. So I'm not here to debate that. We are here to debate fair and just trial of a person who's been in detention for over, it's been in and out of detention for over 10 years. You haven't been able to put any of this evidence in court. No one has ever convicted him of one. I was even charged at the point with Nnamdi Kanu that Nnamdi Kanu and I killed policemen in the Southeast. I've never been to the Southeast with Nnamdi Kanu before. So you should know where all of this propaganda is coming from.
But Mr. Shore, can we discountenance the fact that in the last couple of years, the police in the Southeast have arrested criminals, some of whom, have been caught to have identified with IPOB. Hence that concern that there's a criminal element in the agitation for self-determination in the Southeast.
Listen, the police told you they arrested somebody who is a criminal, who's a member of IPOB. This same policeman did not present to you the ID card they got from the guy who says it's IPOB. You can just go and arrest somebody who is a criminal, claim he's IPOB, and then you take him to a special detention center in Wawa Barracks, and you have not been able to try him. I know of a couple, husband and wife, that were tagged IPOB. They have been in Wawa Barracks for almost 3 years. Their children have scattered. Their home has been, given away, and people thought they have died. These are things that the policemen in our country are doing. That's what the DSS has been doing. And you give a veneer of credibility to it by calling them criminals you don't even know. You can't believe what the police is telling you. You can't take it on the face value that the police is not lying, because they do it to me. They arrest me for crimes I never knew anything about. I told you just now that in 2020, the Nigerian government went and charged me with Nnamdi Kanu for killing policemen in the Southeast. Never been to the Southeast with Nnamdi Kanu, although the trial was never conducted. There was no arraignment. But that was what they made up. They make up all kinds of stories because they are victimizing an entire region in the country. They are tarring them as bad people, and that is what led to the civil war in the first place. So it looks to me that Nigerian state has not concluded the civil war. They have just, turned the civil war from an active stage to a cold war. So, and to come on TV and start repeating things that nobody has ever verified is not what I'm here to debate with you. What I'm telling you is that you have a trial. You have all this evidence of killings by the person you're trying. Take it to court. Present it to the world. But you cannot tell me that in 4 years, since 2021, that Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped and brought to Nigeria from Kenya. You haven't been able to present such an evidence of grievous offenses against him.
Right.
Just go there and ask for adjournment after spending 500 million naira from the DSS security budget every court session.
Well, Mr. Shore, so I want us to speak to the court process because it's also important, and you have been in court time and again, so I've
you have it. This is the Nigeria you're talking about. How they are manipulating something, allegation, and what is not true. That is why I told you. Nothing like Nigeria. That amalgamation has expired. Everything that is happening now is proving that Nigeria is a failed state. Who is president? Who is governing Nigeria? Who is the so-called president? Not even a Nigeria person. From the origin of giving birth. Tinubu is not an origin. It's the same Fulanese who presented into the country, and today they are in charge of the country. That place you call country. But we, the Biafra people, call it death sentence. I also want you to understand everything that is playing out. That is the only Biafran people understand what Nigeria means. That is why we are fighting our way out. Chowore has come to understand some pattern, some certain things that are going on, because he has been there. And because of what he understands, that is why he's today in this process of free Mazi and Kanu. Nigeria is a lawless country. Nigeria is that place that there is no rule of law at all. no room for human being. That is where Nigeria is. We want you to understand that everything that we are doing, there is reason why you must stand up to free yourself from being a Nigeria and look for your people and ask who you are before the amalgamation of 1914. You ask this question: who are you? Who are you? How was you? How was the way you were living before the amalgamation now comes in? When you go down to the root and find out who you are and what led to the amalgamation and why the amalgamation is because of the profit that Britain will make. That is what brings the amalgamation, nothing more than that. Then you have seen how Nigeria is becoming a first state. Arresting peaceful protesters just to shout, "Free Mazi Nnamdi is the code of the protest." And they start shooting. They start throwing tear gas. They start arresting the people. They start intimidating them. They start harassing them. They start all manner of things that Nigeria is capable of being doing. And after that, you will call it to your country. I am sorry for you because for me it's not my country. My country is United States of Biafra. Look at they're telling you the things that are going on, and it's true. And that woman who was asked that question was asking as if she's not be hearing everything that is going on. When they come to this channel and pretend and lie, they will get their salary. But any day that they speak to, they will be sacked and not receiving any salary. That is why they're afraid. That is why no station is saying the truth, that they concur on honor of lies and propaganda to push it out, and they will go and relax. But we are here to debunk all these lies. So it is very important that you understand what is going on. That Nigeria is never, and it can never, because it has already expired. Let's continue.
Yourself sometimes to even seek some sort of reparation. So there's a court process ongoing now, the Federal High Court, and just some days ago, the NMA gave some sort of testimony saying he's fit to stand trial. And the trial judge, in fact, adjourned till October the 23rd, said that, he, being the defendant, has from the 23rd to the 30th to present the case and all of that. In fact, even granted his counsel permission to have a meeting with him outside of a DSS facility. I think that will happen on the 22nd, if I'm correct, between 9 a.m.
I am happy that some Nigerians are start opening their eyes and they have started seeing why we are running out from Nigeria. Good evening from here. I greet you. Bible Kid, I greet you. Sashi, greet you. Soshi, greet you. Good evening from here. It's evening from my location, so good evening to you all. Ijele Masatina, good evening from here also. Our program is open mic. You can call. We are talking about the protests in Nigeria. What is going on in Nigeria? About the protest of Free Mazi Nnamdi. That is general discussion. You see what is happening throughout today, so you can call also to raise your own opinion into what is going on and also prove how Nigeria is a death sentence to every indigenous people. It's a free mic program this night. We are on the protest matter. We want to prove to you how Nigeria and what is happening to the people. Nigeria is a country of what? Injustice. Ewo, Ijele, thanks so much for that word. I can see it from here. The indigenous people must stand up, and the agenda of all this that is happening is to build what? Islamic. To make that Islamize you and I. And for me, I have already left Nigeria, left Islamization. He left for you. Because we as the different people have done what? We have made our official declaration of United States of Biafra, a new country that are seeking for international recognition. This country was declared on November 29, 2024. That is who we are. We are putting everything in measure. We are putting everything in normal positions or to due time. I know already. The reason you already heard about us. Because we have our new country, we have our document of declaration, we have what Nigeria did not have. You can see the injustice. You can see the intimidation. That is the same way that people was intimidated in 1914. Is what Nigeria is emphasizing. They are showcasing that intimidation that Britain used and hand over to them, the Fulanese. That is what we are doing. That's what we are seeing today, to prove to you that Nigeria is not a free country. It was not. They did not consult anybody. They just come. You from today. You are Nigerian. They sign document. They pass it over to them and hand it over to Fulani to make sure that they Islamize Nigeria. Britain are only doing it because of their interests, because of their profit, because of the gain. Because Nigeria is a profit of Britain. The way the law is about what? Sentence of death. That is what Nigeria is. So let us continue listening.
And 12 noon. The point here is there's a court process ongoing, and he's going to also have his side heard from the 23rd until the 30th. So why not allow the court process take its course? As I said earlier on, you've also been in court. In fact, you've commended some of the court orders that favored you, some of them regarding this process. So why not allow that court process go through?
There was a court process that started in 2021 after Nnamdi Kanu was extraordinary rendition from Kenya. The court process started from the Federal High Court as well. It went to the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal determined, are you listening to me, that Nnamdi Kanu did not commit any offense, discharged and acquitted him.
But they will pretend that we don't know that.
This is public knowledge. How come nobody respects that court order? Was he ever released for one day, even after the Court of Appeal took that decision? Ever. The Supreme Court, this case went to the Supreme Court, determined that he did not violate his bail condition. Was his bail ever reinstated because of that? Never. So you cannot tell me about court processes, because I know that these court processes have been violated repeatedly by the Nigerian government. You cannot be holding somebody, take him to court, stand in front of the courtroom, determine who the judge is, determine who is in the gallery, determine even sometimes who the lawyers are who are allowed to enter the premises of the court, even to do their own job, and you tell me that's fair and just trial? No. Everybody knows this is a sham. And that's what we are reiterating. And people who know better, people like Femi Falana and others, have said this doesn't belong in the courtroom, because these are just theatrics meant to prolong the punishment of an individual whose only crime is asking for self-determination. The only crime Nnamdi Kanu committed is none of those things you have heard or spoken about. Is that he said, let my people go. Because Nigeria no longer favors us, it doesn't protect our dignity, it doesn't see us as human beings. We've lost 6 million people to this Nigerian project, and we don't want to continue. That's his crime. Let us all admit that's a crime. It is the same way Mandela was accused of treason, but his crime was that he wanted to end apartheid. So the problem with us is that we are still debating the fact that we have apartheid in this country, that some people are treated differently from others. And then we start cherry picking, oh, he committed a crime, he stepped on somebody's toes. You know, what crime did Kensarua commit in this country? Was it not because he was asking for environmental protection? Didn't they kill him? What crime did Abiola commit in this country? Was it not that he won an election that they didn't want him to become president? Didn't they kill him? Was it not the same arguments that were given during their time? Oh, Abiola's case is in court. Let it go through the court. But we knew it was not supposed to have been taken to court. And
right.
You know, so in this country we seem to forget history, and that's why we keep making these mistakes over and over again.
But Mr.
Shomari, be honest enough to say to ourselves, look, this is unjust, this is unfair, and then we start just debating the frivolities around a case that we know is not going anywhere.
Well, it's important
at the Federal High Court.
Right.
What you see there is persecution.
Well, it's important to
I hope you understand. Chore is, in fact, he's finishing the work for me. Because things I have to say, so the spirit of truth has started capturing Chore. And until when the spirit of truth captured and conquered Chore, he will go and join his people. From this movement he's moving, the spirit of the Yoruba, the spirit of Duduwa nation is capturing him now. Showore is the one speaking the truth on behalf of us. And all these people, they will be pretending. Do you know why they are pretending? Because if they don't pretend, anytime they stand up and to talk about the truth, all of them will lose their jobs. Some of them will be gotten arrested. If Nigeria will have the temerity to arrest the Mazi Nnamdi younger brother and arrest his lawyer, see, I told you, what makes Nigeria to kidnap Mazi Nnamdi is they value it more than the protest and more than the protest and more than the human life that people are living in that contraction called one Nigeria. One Nigeria means what? Death sentence to every indigenous person. That is why there's massacre everywhere. The protest that people are protesting peacefully has turned into violence. Who brought the violence? Nigeria Boko Haram military in the disguise of uniform. They are the one who brought this violence. They are the one who always become the anti-Protestants. That is who they are. But when those that are on their side are protesting, they will be there guide them. But when they see the indigene, when they see the who stand on the truth, they will start using tear gas to try to chase them away. I want to tell you, I want to remind you that the meaning of one Nigeria as a country is a death sentence to indigenous people. Those that are work on channel television, they will be acting as if they don't know what is going on. You kidnapped a man, you brought him back to Nigeria without due process for over 5 years now. You keep him in detention. Your court has discharged him. Another one discharged him. You refuse him to go, and you are asking, oh, can't we wait until after the court process? What of the process that said, discharge him, let him go? He has no crime to answer. He didn't commit any crime. What of that one? All these fools, all these criminals, all these haters of truth that are working on the channel TVs. What of the first court procedure that has discharged him? Why are you after that? Did you set him free for 1 day for him to go to his house, or you set him free? He's on his way to his house, and you bring him back again? No, you keep him in your custody. After the court has said discharge him, he has no crime. You kidnap him. You went to his house. You killed over 28 men, including his dog, and he fled. Is he not someone who is alive will stand trial? In the concern of Nigeria said that someone who will stand trial is someone who is alive and who is healthy. You will see some of them in the courts of Nigeria. When they are having case to answer, they will start performing. They will start acting as if they are not feeling fine. Once you take them inside, they will feel and they will be okay. They did that for Nigeria to grant them pardon, for them to walk away from the courts. But for Mazi Nnamdi is no longer, it's not there. The protest of Mazi Nnamdi has also proved today the injustice that have been ordained from the amalgamation that brought us death sentence called one Nigeria. My people, I want to understand that everything that is playing out is in our favor for we that are United States of Biafra government. We are telling the world that the United States of Biafra want to end this injustice, this intimidation, this harassment that are going on, the death sentence of the indigenous people. United States of Biafra as a new country is only solution to stop it, and the Oduduwa nation is another thing that can stop it going on. Despite that, nothing will stop what you see today. People will continue lamenting, shouting, and making noise. After that, what happened is the question, my people. So I want us to know that The death sentence must always, the country that's in called injustice called Nigeria must always showcase who they are. Today, on the peaceful protestants, they start tearing tear gas. These protestants did not destroy any house, destroy any motor, destroy any motorcycle, destroy any human being. Rather, they are walking majestically to do what? To protest, and they start harassing gun, shooting tear gas. We are asking UN, this is what you call territorial integrity and sovereignty? Is it like this? We are asking you. After you have seen what happened, you will mute because of the money that Nigeria is pumping into all of you. Because all of you are making that money from Nigeria. All of you are making that profit. That is why you are doing the shenanigan and the proof that you don't care about who we are. But we, as the Biafran people, care for our life. That is why the Biafran people who understand the right of a human being, the injustice, that every human being has equal rights. That is why we make our declaration on November 20th, 2024, elect it or not. We want to remind Nigeria that you are holding a president of a new country. You are holding a president of what? A new country. We are reminding Nigeria. We also remind Finland that you are holding the prime minister of a new state. Whether like it or not, we have come to exist and nobody will stop us. Listen.
Understand the rationale behind your move. So these questions will naturally be put to you so that we can bring in all of us side and understand what it is that is fueling this. But I want to ask you about those who have said, wait, October the 20th is known for NSAS. So are you trying to steal the October 20th NSAS thunder? I'm sure you've seen those
comments.
Look
at the nonsense he's
that
talking.
have been targeted at you, and people have said, well, choose any other day, but not October the 20th. Why is October the 20th the day for you, bearing in mind that a lot of people know it for the NSAS?
I was one of the people who declared NSAS. I was the first to take NSAS to the police headquarters. And I have participated in every NSAS anniversary since NSAS ended. So nobody can tell me about NSAS. But NSAS was about justice. This is also about justice. I am just multitasking on the side of justice. So NSAS still stays. The remembrance stays. We used to do remembrance for NSAS in Lagos.
Look at them.
Anybody can do it. We are still going to do it even after this is done today. So there's nothing here.
That is where you will see
there's
them.
Nothing to debate about NSAS.
Where the bloody civilians are on doing something, we see them. But when Boko Haram starts,
sacrosanct for us.
You will not see any of them.
But what is most sacrosanct for all of us is social justice.
As if they can do something. But when they see one Boko Haram, they will all flee the way.
Has spoken up and has condemned this protest that you're leading and wondering why you're not allowing the process, of justice to take its course. They say that and they're an Igbo group, by the way, in the diaspora. And they say that you're using this to seek political relevance, as you have done with other protests.
That is the kind of stupid question you will ask. That is the kind of things that you're listening to because you are an evil woman. But Nigeria will happen to you one day. Until Nigeria happens to you, then it will stop the rubbish. Let us hear from another Nigerian news station.
Shower's move to organize a protest against the detention of the leader of the indigenous peoples of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, around Astor Rock, the National Assembly Complex, Force Headquarters, the Court of Appeal, Eagle Square, and Shehu Shagari Way has been met with reactions. The Nigerian police force over the weekend urged demonstrators to respect a court order.
As we speak, Showara is missing. Barrister Aloy Jamakwa has been arrested, and the brother of Nnamdi Kanu, known as Ima Kanu, has been arrested by the Nigerian DSS.
That is what Nigeria have been doing. Arresting
in the protest. They were kind of the peaceful protest. So please continue with this video, then I'll come back to break it down. Let's continue.
restricting protests around key government areas, police spokesman Benjamin Hundeyin, while acknowledging citizens' rights to peaceful assembly and expression, stated that such rights must be exercised responsibly and within the limits of the law, particularly where public safety, national security, and the rights of other citizens
I hope
are
you see that the protest is
the
peaceful.
statement has elicited reactions, and I'll take some.
Hope you can see how peaceful
This is from
it is.
Obiora, who wrote,
Do you see them
on X,
fighting or destroying
with due
anything?
respect to the Inspector General of Police, the place mentioned in this release, Aso Rock Villa, the National Assembly, the Court of Appeal, Force Headquarters, Eagle Square, and Shehu Shagari Way are not private estates. They belong to the people of Nigeria. The citizens built them, funded them, and ultimately own them. Therefore, the right to peacefully assemble in those places is not a privilege to be granted by the government. It is a constitutional right that must be protected, not suppressed. If we are to speak of court orders, then we must remember that the same judiciary has discharged Mazi Nnamdi Kanu on 2 separate occasions, yet the government continues to detain him in clear defiance of those rulings. Selective obedience to court orders undermines the very foundation of justice and erodes public trust in both the government and law enforcement. Nigerians are not asking for chaos. They're asking for fairness, equity before the law, and accountable governance. A government that has nothing to hide should have no fear of its citizens expressing dissent. Protests are not a threat. They are feedback, a mirror reflecting issues that require urgent attention. It is a sign that all is not well in the land. True leadership listens, not silences. The strength of any democracy lies not in the number of armed officers deployed to suppress voices, but in the courage of those.
I told you that Nigeria, the only thing that all of them understand that the only thing that keep that thing called Nigeria is gun and bullet, the military and police. They are the one. Then on the other side of it, the Nigeria amalgamation brought us what? That name Nigeria means death sentence to indigenous people. Until they start seeing this as particular aspect of Nigeria, then all of them run away from Nigeria. If not, they will be there, all of them will die one day. How can you, a police or a military man, tell people where they will protest and where they will not protest? The area you ask them not to protest is where the citizens use their money, build their land, also help to build the roads. And you ask them not to stop. Is it happening in America? Is it happening in England? Is it happening in France? Is it happening in Russia? Is it happening in China? Tell me that part of the world that what is going on here is happening. That is why you will know this is not a country. It's a death sentence to you, until you know that Nigeria is a death sentence. That is when you will flee away from anything that concerns Nigeria and join your people. Today, the Biafran people has moved out with the name United States of what? Biafra, as a new country that are going to stop the injustice, that are going to that are not going to tell their citizens where they will protest and where they will be able not to be protest. But when it's come to election, they will ask you to come out everywhere. And you call it a country. That thing called one Nigeria. We have come to destroy it, to its last root. Nigeria does not even have a foundation, lots of roots. That is why they do whatever they like. The way Nigeria was amalgamated forcefully is the way that Nigeria is acting today. The way that nobody was consulted when Nigeria when they want to make that name called Nigeria as a country, the same way is what you are seeing that is playing out today. I hope you are paying attention. The same thing that is going on, or you refuse to understand, that the same method, the so-called little roots of Nigeria as a country is under force, by force. So everything must be under by force. And when you force people to refuse, what next? You buy them. You throw tear gas. You start using unnecessary harassing gun on air. and disturbing the atmosphere. That is where you belong. That we are calling you out, so be out from there with your life. If you refuse, they will take your life away, because that's what Nigeria cares for, only to destroy people's life. Let's continue listening. Today, you may understand from their own mouth that a freedom of speech is allowed. A freedom of gathering to express how you feel is allowed. Self-defense is not an abomination. You had it here. The offense of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu did not kill anybody. Was offense of that he tried to present self-defense to his people, and let his people go so the thing can be able to stop. And if Biafra has left, all this injustice is only us that have right to stop it in Nigeria, to stop the killings, protect our border, and know that nobody penetrating into our border. That is only where all this happening today is happening. A country where a group of army and military police are the one who decide what's happened and who govern. That means that you are still living on autocracy, you're not living on democracy. Right way, in the Nigeria amalgamation, there is no democracy. That is why they force people to stay in there. When the country called Nigeria is forcefully amalgamated, what else do you want to hear? The foundation is force, so everything you are seeing is by force. By who? Using their Boko Haram army to force the indigenous people out of their land. It's not by force. Today, people that went to protest only for hashtag Free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu protest is where they come in, they start killing people. They start intimidating people. They arrested Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer, they arrested his Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's brother. So maybe the way they wipe the father and the mother of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu out, it is the same method now they want to use to wipe the entire generation out. I hope you may understand what is playing out. The same method they used to kill Abacha. Gradually, and the man by. They thought they would do for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. But we are telling them that this man is above human destruction. You dare not destroy him. Rather, he will destroy you. That is why he's bringing an end to Nigeria. All his promises are manifesting and also bringing the end to what I think they call one Nigeria. What do you think when we call Nigeria that the meaning of Nigeria is death sentence? Remember, we have an open mic again this night. You can call anytime you want. Tell us what you feel about what is going on in Nigeria, about the protests. What do you feel about that? Tell us your own experience and what you think is the way out for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Because for me, I know the way out of him. You are free to call on number +9 7 3 60 51 337. Jennifer, good evening. Easy way, good evening from here. So if you want to call, our lines are open for call because we are an open mic of discussing what is going on the protests that people went out to protest peacefully, and how they were thrown tear gas, how the police arrested some people, and how they shoot some people also on A. So you are free to call to say your mind.
In power to hear uncomfortable truths and act justly. Another ex-user wrote, this statement from the Nigeria Police Force is a welcome reminder that the rule of law must guide every action in our democracy. Upholding court orders is crucial for maintaining order and preventing chaos. However, it's equally important that law enforcement officers carry out their duties with professionalism, restraint, and respect for the constitutional rights of citizens to
who is carrying a car,
assembly and
who
free
was inside
expression.
bush,
Peaceful
a bandit
protest remains a
man,
legitimate democratic
who did not
for
even
citizens to express their grievances, provided it is conducted responsibly and within the law. The police must therefore balance firmness and fairness, ensuring that while security and public order are protected, voices of the people are not unjustly silenced Ultimately, both the citizens and the police share a common responsibility to ensure peace, justice, and respect for the Constitution. For the Constitution to prevail in our nation. I believe that's what the ex-user is trying to say, Rufai. We know the NSAS movement, represented a defining moment for Nigeria's youth generation that, leveraged social media and organized this protest that captured international attention. It is quite, glaring at this moment that the rule of law has to prevail in the land. And, I do admire activist Omoyele Sowore for actually tying in this protest with the injustice as it seems. Rufai, your comment, and I'll come sit with you.
I mean, it's apt to protest when people have grievances. That's why we have a democracy, and that's why
there is no democracy
of military government.
Correct.
Because it's a democracy, people can protest. But in a democracy, when people protest and you stifle their voice and you kill them, it makes us get sad and even question if we were practicing democracy. And you see, I'm particularly miffed by the way they've started to stifle protests. Just this morning, what happened? When went out with people to protest, and the next thing, tear gas. Daily Trust was reporting live bullets, live rounds being fired.
Are you hearing it?
Is this how to go? The same people that shut this country down for 2 weeks, Jonathan did not go after them like this.
Are you hearing it?
A lot of the people that protested Occupy Nigeria morphed into what is the APC today. We saw how they had a series of protests then. Were these not the same people that protested and put Jonathan's head and call him all sorts of names, Jonathan Haram and everything? Did they stifle their voices this way? So this high-handedness we practice in the name of democracy will not get anywhere.
My brother, it's happening because it's not a country in the first place. Until all of you realize that this is not a country, that Banana Island is better than this. Because all these things you people are wasting time until you realize that that thing is not a country. Until when I realize that Nigeria is not a country is when I hear against Nigeria. And since then I'm a free person in my mind to speak out truth, to do the justice, to do the right thing at all time. Until all of you join us, I thank God it's happening. You are a witness of all the prophecy of Mazi Nnamdi. And today what is going on? What is happening is still happening. So, looking at you telling us that Nigeria is a country, that is where all of you are getting it wrong. Nigeria is a profit of a white man. For the white man to make the profit, he gives you a name called Nigeria, then tell you that this is a death sentence to anybody who refuses that name or who is an indigene. That is why they are passing death sentence everywhere in the land. In the whole area of North is bleeding. And today, Sowore move out to protest for injustice that is going on, that they want justice. A man that court has been discharged, you refuse to let him go, and you ask him to stand trial. You, as a lawyer, as a chief judge, or as a chief magistrate, who ask him to stand a trial, you are corrupt. You are the evil. Which trial ask him to stand for? Which one? That is when you know this is not a country. This thing is not a country. This thing is not a country. It's an amalgamation. It's a profit of a white man. And the only way he can make the profit by sentencing the indigenous people by death, for them to know to have a voice to talk. By the same way he was intimidated them to make the amalgamation, is the same way he's handed over. Use intimidation if they refuse. Use your military, use your police. That is what is going on today. People are reporting about live bullets from the ground, from the avenue of the protests. I am here to tell you that the massacre released today, the answer is no. I want to tell you those that the release of Mazi is in their hands. The release of Mazi, the release of Mazi Nnamdi is in the hands of Biafra government. That is where his reason is. That is where his freedom is. That is those that are holding his freedom. Once we fly the things that we're supposed to do and do it properly and civil international recognition and possess our land, Mazi will be alive and will possess our land and he will be free. Remember, I told you this is an open mic. If you want to call on this program, you are free to call. So, let us go into things that are happening today also. So, you may understand everything that we're talking about, that this thing is not a country. This thing is something that will kill you. They have passed death sentence on your neck. That's what we are seeing today. Listen to one of Mazi Nnamdi's lawyer.
Threatening the killing people who directed Nigerian police and Nigerian army to go and negotiate with them. That is simply because Nnamdi is exercising his right under the constitution, and you said that they must try. They must try it. No, we must protest. It is our right. You can kill all of us, no problem. Highest in the next, after these 4 years, 12 another 4 years at worst. We'll leave another episode to come. Look at Malami. We are talking to Malami. Malami refused that the Nigeria is a father's inheritance. Where is Malami today? He has joined us he has become an activist. Where is 05? 05 has come to be an activist. One day when you finish, you join us. So all your hand to others. You should not be shooting people, killing the innocent persons that you have the mandate to govern, and you want to go and support them. Those people who are advising you, they are not helping you. The people that are helping you are protesters. When we protest, we are protesting, asking you to get it right. All those jobless, hopeless citizens.
You see, my problem with this Mazi Nnamdi lawyer is he has only one focus in his life as a man. He has only one reason as a man. He don't reason very well. And he's shying away from the truth. You tell me one Nigeria. You are saying all these things in which country? Where they pass death sentence over you. Where your consent was not involved. Where they look at you and say, look at this in Nnamdi. You will come to tell what we will do, and they say no to you. From your word, I didn't understand. Do you don't have idea that Mazi Nnamdi is fighting for a new country? When you look at what he's fighting, and I was always said, you as a lawyer need to know history of those who fight. You mentioned Nelson Mandela some time ago. Now, what Nelson Mandela fought is different from what Mazi Nnamdi is fighting for. Are you following? Mazi Nnamdi is fighting for outright new country, new nation. That is his offense that he has committed. Nothing more than that. This is the offense of Mazi Nnamdi. Nothing more than that. Benchinaka, you're welcome. Today, as if you are listening to Bryce Maxwell, I always get angry. Because he talks like an entity. He talks like a fool. He doesn't listen things that he's saying. So up to today, now that you know that Mazi Nnamdi fight was self-defense for what? For a new country of his people. And that new country has been declared. You shy away from it and always speaking ill from your mouth. That is why I call you Igbo slave. Being a lawyer does not mean you know anything. You know everything. Even you, what will save you from the hands of those are holding Aloy Ejimakor right now is only Biafra. Whether you believe it or not, my people, it's a high time that will catch you will tell the truth. Maxwell, stop fooling yourself. Stop wasting your time. Face the reality. The reality in front of you is accepting United States of Biafra as a lawyer, then fight as a lawyer. with that name, that your leader is a president of a new country. This is only way out. That's all this that is happening.
Great singers, they are helping your government, they are killing your government, they are destroying your government. We are the people that are helping your government.
Barrister, let me just quickly cut you in here. Earlier, I asked you, you are a member of the community of on Friday, there is a court order stating that there shouldn't be protests in some specific government-owned facilities, and yet it's as if you shoot yourself in the leg.
Why should you say that? Look at it. How is this in the that somebody said that you should not exercise the law? No, there is no order like that. The order, even AIT, you carried it, I saw it in your news, where they specify.
Is it that you guys did not receive the order?
Nobody serves the order. We have not received the order. I saw it in the media that the restrainers from certain areas. Which you confirm?
That is AIT, the evil woman.
Is this a central area? You participated in the protest when we started from Gaga. Was it violent? Did you witness any violence? What brought about shooting? What brought about tear gassing? Is this in democracy? Yeah. Are we not taking ourselves an effort in the international community? In fact, this government...
So directly you're 40 where you work? Is that what it means?
So what?
Are you 40 where you work?
Of course, the problem of this country is judiciary, huh? Judiciary is the problem of this country. When I'm talking about judiciary, I'm talking about lawyers and judges. I'm a lawyer, my wife is a lawyer. And my son will still be a lawyer. The problem of this country is lawyers and judges. Because when you are telling the government what is right, no, you cannot do this thing. This thing is wrong. They will not do it again. How can they, okay, look at now, you got injured. As someone they were massaging your hand, where you are running. What is your own offense? You came to cover protest. Are you not supposed to sue the government of Nigeria? Then file action against government in court and see what will happen. I leave it at that.
So from there, what do you move there?
We are moving to our protest now. We are moving to Kalibowagwa side. It's our right. I must exercise my right.
After today, are you still going to proceed with the process?
No, our protest is only today. Then if they need to, not only this one, we are going to protest for some other things.
So what if the government refuses to get to your court?
Then we prepare for another protest. It is our right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
What did people want? The bad government, what did people want? Nigeria police, what did people want? We cannot protect the life and property anymore. It is shame on the Nigeria police. It is shame on the Nigeria government. You cannot protect the life and property.
A sign of a failed state.
It's not shame on you. What are you two doing there? In that city that you cannot act. You can't do anything. You are just there.
We are going on the world to pay attention.
Instead, you are using your subordinate to chest us. You are using your people surrounding you, your power to chest us.
People are protesting only for let justice be done.
Tinubu, if you cannot rule us, please retire and drop down. Drop down, Tinubu. We cannot take you anymore as a president. In fact, in short, you are a failure to us as a father. You are a failure to us as a father. If you don't know, let me tell you today. Okay? If I talk,
I want you to understand what is going on. We are calling on the international community. There was a time when Namibia was fighting against South Africa. This world powers revoked the territorial integrity of South Africa because of what is happening. What happened to South Africa with Namibia that makes UN to revoke South Africa territorial integrity? More than 85% of that is happening. And you are protecting territorial integrity, and the abuses of human beings are everywhere. Illegal firearms, illegal tear gas of the people that are protesting peacefully because they don't want you to see what is going on. As we are bringing it, the way it happens, you will shy away, you members of UN. All the countries that's made up of UN, all of you are evil, all of you are corrupt. Because anybody who works with a criminal is a criminal. Anybody who always sit down with a criminal to discuss is a criminal. From the day Alexander Stubb, the president of Finland, decided to sit with vice president of Nigeria, who is the founding father of Boko Haram, he becomes a Boko Haram. Every country in the world that's made up of UN, that I see what is going on, Know that Biafra has been declared again after we have lost over 6 million people in the hand of Nigeria. And today, you see what is going on today. They hold the president of a new country, United States of Biafra, and people are not saying anything. That simply means all of you are the same. Because if you're not a criminal, if you're not a smoker, what are you doing always with a smoker? Why a smoker is your best friend? Why a killer? Why country that his name is death sentence to those people are those that are members of the UN and EU? Why then? It's not a high time you revoke their mandate of membership. It's not the high time to stop it. It's not the high time. Every country in the world that's a member of UN today that is seeing the injustice, that is seeing the inhuman treatment, that is seeing the killings going on in Nigeria by Nigeria police, military, and Nigeria government, and you decide not to revoke Nigeria total integrity, you let that thing that happened to these innocent people happen to people of your country. So you may experience what we're experiencing, and how painful and how bitter it is. Under your law, you say it's people's right. Now that under that your law, that you see people tearing tear gas on them, shooting on them, pursuing them, beating them, hitting them today, what are you going to do? And you claim you're a white man. You claim that it's a right of people. The right is only in the paper. The right of the people ends in the paper where you write those things. No action towards it. No simple action. No singular action. That by today, Nigeria should be sanctioned. Nigeria should be revoked their mandate, which is the membership of UN. Or the only way you are not doing that is because of you are profiting from what Nigeria is doing. As the process is going, nobody knows where Nnamdi is. He is with some of the UN members. He's some of the secretary of the UN members. He's some of the council of UN members, giving them food, giving them money. Nigeria is that country who will go and borrow money to bribe his fellow country to remain silent. And because of you are getting the dollar and the pounds from Nigeria, you are okay. And not that they will promise you oil. That oil that is in the land of the citizens. The oil that is in the Biafra land, they will promise you. You will continue keeping the total integrity. The more Nigeria is dragging himself down, that is how Nigeria is dragging all the members of UN down. The way Nigeria is putting themselves in shame is how also they are putting you in shame, you UN and the EU. That way that Nigeria is a shambolic country, that way that killings are happening is how Nigeria is dragging all of you. That is what you are planning also for your citizens. That is why you cannot stop the impunity of Nigeria. That is why you cannot stop the injustice. That is why you cannot stop the inhuman treatment. That is why you cannot stop the abuse of life in Nigeria. Because you are benefiting from that. And you are okay, you are happy about it. When the people talk to stop what is going on, because of it's your plan of Britain, it's the plan of Britain to wipe away indigenous people so they can be able to make their profits. So everything that is going on is plan of Britain, plan of a white man in our land. If you said it's not from you, then do something. Condemn this killing that is going on. Sanction Nigeria. Revoke their mandate. Remove their... Nigeria are not supposed to have territorial integrity. The territorial integrity of Nigeria is gun and bullet, killing of the indigenous people, burning of their houses, their markets, and their way of living. That is the territorial integrity that we are protecting UN. UN, The territorial integrity that you are protecting is what? This is the territorial integrity. Killing, inhuman treatment, abuse of life, torture, injustice. They're coming from Nigeria. That is what UN values most, because from there, they are getting their bribe. It's all about bribes, it's all about money, it's all about gain, not about the life of the people. Because the people may stop what is coming to you from Nigeria. That is why you want them to buy. So you continuously in the hands of those that are giving what you want and be working with them. That is what is going on here. Nothing more than that. What UN is doing is that they want indigenous people to be chased away. So for them to continuously getting what they are getting from the Nigeria in the hands of the Fulanese. But how do we know that Afghanistan will turn back and chase American military away? That's why the American being the one build that military. They are military that America train in the morning. Then in the night they are Afghanistan. Would you see that this snake that you leave to be growing will come to bite you very soon? It will come. Let us continue listening.
Youth, that if you are not hearing, maybe they're telling you different things or what is happening. Now I'm telling you that the Nigerian youth are suffering. The Nigerian citizens are suffering over the bad government, over your bad leadership, over your bad corruption watch. Okay? Look at the SPC are there, they are not doing anything. The DSS are there, they are not doing anything. Nigerian police are there, they are not doing anything. The military are there, are not doing anything. The wolf for their hands are just dying like that, like a cow, like a fowl.
It's not today. Okay? In 1914 was when they sentenced you to death, when they give that name Nigeria. From the day they think of the amalgamation, after they have the weak, the Ekumeku warrior, after they have destroyed on the attack, destroyed the Ekumeku warrior, and they surrendered and captured them and destroyed the Ekumeku warrior, that year is the year they did the amalgamation. So, as you are listening to me, I want to know your root first also. Now, the same year that Britain did leave all the, what did Britain find in Africa? What is that they are doing in Africa? They come with that passports. They come with ammunition. They first entered in our land. Start fighting us. The same thing that Fulanese. That's why I said that the Britain are the forefather of the Fulanese. The Britain are the forefather of Boko Haram. Because the same method that Britain used to fight in our land before the amalgamation is what we are seeing today. What the Britain did at that time, they come, they attack the citizens, burn down their houses. Burn down what? Their houses. Then kill the citizens and take over. That is what Britain did. So, the same thing is what is repeating. But if they are doing their own process in their land, if they're still demanding for something, it will be peaceful. But when it's coming to us, because of the force they bring, Britain used force to enter. They used force to conquer the Ekumeku warrior. After that, amalgamation happened by force. Because they know that what they did to the Ekumeku warriors that are in the mindset of the people, that is why they refuse to bring people to come in to sign that this is a country called Nigeria. We are the owner of it. Britain is the owner of Nigeria, whether you like it or not. And they pass death sentence to you before they leave by giving that name, One Nigeria. One Nigeria means death sentence. One Nigeria means intimidation. One Nigeria means inhuman treatment. One Nigeria means injustice. One Nigeria means abuse of life and the autocracy. That is what Nigeria simply means. This, what is the meaning of one Nigeria that you are claiming that you are from? We will show you some videos and listen. You don't want Igbos, and you don't allow them to go. It's a time that all the flavors that are not politicians join United States of Biafra for you people that was never exit Nigeria to exit Nigeria with us, or rather, you will cry had I know that comes at last. Listen to this.
Feel good. I love it. What? Lagos are stinking. Lagos are water. I feel good. Talk to us about the agitation currently. Yes, sir. The Supreme Court has once said they should release Nnamdi Kanu. Appeal Court has said the same thing. You people said the judge paid. Whereas you went to his house, middle of the night, kill his father, kill his relative, why would he not run? You people are playing politics with the life of a citizen. I'm not hearing these people. I'm here because he's a citizen. He has rights. So I'm going to exercise my fundamental human rights to protest. And I am saying, if you Nnamdi Kanu, let us bring on the feathers. Let us bring on the bullets. Yes.
Today will be different, and that nobody can stop this spirit that has now been awoken. Yes. And this is to ensure that we bring our brother home. When we went to transport, the tear gas us, we relocated to Taco. The tear gas us, we relocated to Apple. Apple has the biggest so far, and that is to show to you that very soon this will get out of hand if they don't do something about releasing Nnamdi Kanu. We are not threatening violence. We are just saying that in this country we all deserve a right to be citizens. If you want us to be citizens in this country, if you don't want Nigerians to be citizens in their country, let those people want to go.
What do you make of this protest, though? The Free Nnamdi Kanu protest. There are those who are saying, look, it is legitimate. They are well within their rights to protest. It is enshrined in the Constitution. And there are those who are saying this protest is premature. Has been made on the matter in court. It seemed at some point that, yes, there was a lull, especially after he was brought back from Kenya. But then there are those who are saying it seems that new vigor has been given the case. Just last week, we heard from the Nigerian Medical Association that he's fit to stand trial, and it does appear that the justice system is now determined to take its course. What are your thoughts on the protests which seem to want to ground the Federal Capital Territory today?
Well, first and foremost, the Constitution is very clear. Section 36, subsection 5. That every Nigerian citizen is deemed to be innocent until proved guilty. A nation that detains a human being more than 7 years, and you have him in your custody, and yet he couldn't even reach a judgment as to the culpability of his crime, is a nation that is failing in the dispensation of justice. Justice delayed is justice denied. When it comes to the issue of crime, the Constitution is very clear that the accused or defendant should be judged within a reasonable time. It is very unreasonable to keep a man in detention for almost 7 years. What are you judging? This is telling on the judicial process of Nigeria. I tell you again, in the Constitution, they say the Attorney General, while making any decision as to charging anybody, discontinuing or taking over any criminal charge, should have regard for public interest, the interest of justice, and the need not to abuse the legal process. For me, in the case of Nnamdi Kanu, the legal processes have been abused. Nobody will remain sane to be in jail for more than 7 years that a case is being tried. People are frustrated. People believe that if you do not find anything against this man, release him or reach a political solution. That is what is bringing all these things. It's a result of frustration that there is no interest of justice served in this. So diligent prosecution is one of the pillars of justice in a criminal offense. I do not see that diligence, and the federal government is failing on all fronts. Remember, we have pleaded that this should be treated as a political issue and settled out politically so that every party will go home in peace. And then You are the one who arrested him. You are the one who put him on trial. You are the one who is delaying for up to 7 years without giving clear justice. So the federal government is failing on all rounds. And as they keep failing, they are making their matters worse.
So do you think that this is really, you said this is important.
Let me tell you one thing about this man, Kenneth Okanayo. He's only good in speaking English. He has nothing to offer. Nothing. After this, do you see him join the protest? He will not. Because he is a member of APC ruling party. Until all of them come in conclusion that this is not a country. That is only when they will start taking action and they will start doing the right thing. I have pity for all of you who are sounding as if you understand what you are doing. You are inside the river and the water is entering inside your eyes. That is for Nigeria for you. You see him speaking where he's speaking all this big grammar, Constitution 33, Constitution 5. That is where he ends. Those that are holding Mazi are not speaking English. They don't speak big grammar, but they take action. The only way is for if he's a man enough to take action, except speaking the English. The only thing that they refuse to understand here is that the amalgamation is the #1 problem first. And also, because of we are not the same people. We are not one people. Oil and the kerosene cannot mix together. Oil without hot water cannot mix together. Oil, kerosene with water are not mixing together. Fuel and kerosene and water are not mixing together. This is who we are. Different entire people with different ideology. And one of the things that they can use force to force the ideology, that is why everywhere is hot. And that is why Nigeria is a failed state, because it's not a country in the first place. It is a profit of a white man. A business enterprise of a white man. So the white man are putting every confusion, everything in between to confuse you so you will know where you belong. That is where you see this Kenneth Okanayo speaking from both sides of his mouth every time he comes out. That those that understand the importance of what we are doing has moved on with United States of Biafra government, the only hope for every black race, the only hope for every man live in Nigeria. That is only your hope that can put an end to injustice, to inhuman treatment, to abuse of laws.
Political issue.
Should be a political issue.
It should be.
Yes.
But is it?
That's what I'm saying. The government should treat it as a political issue. Remember, during the colonial masters, where people were fighting for our independence, the colonial masters saw them also as adversaries. But they were genuine fighters of freedom. So in this world, there will always be two aspects of an issue. You know, the kind of cost-benefit issue, if it is in business. What is a cost to somebody is a benefit to another. That is how you treat political issues. To some people, he's fighting and agitating for their rights and freedom. You should also take that into consideration. To you, you may say he may have infringed on some laws. Why doing that? You should take that into consideration. And if you're a wise government, you will come to a negotiation table and let each side make a shift and come to a compromise and settle this issue politically.
The issue which he agitates for, which IPOB has agitated for years, is something that countries generally find very difficult to deal with, which is the issue of self-determination. How do you think that that can be resolved, given the fact that even if the federal government were to say, look, politically, we release him today, that certainly would not stop the agitations for people who believe that they should be given a separate country of their own?
Very good. And that is why you should not attribute it to him, that he is the originator and the perpetrator of this. I think it predates him and might even outlive him. So it is about the government learning how to treat agitators and how to dialogue with them because as you have aptly stated it didn't start with him. We've had MASOP, we've had other organizations. It may certainly not end with him. So it's about people expressing in their different ways their manners of frustration with the system. When things were so good in Nigeria, I wasn't hearing all these agitations. But whatever name you call them, it is frustration to the suffering, to the hunger and hardship in the country. That is the truth.
Yes, there is where I want to say something. We talk about when our people was fighting against colonial masters. Today, are we free? Are we not still in the era of the colonial masters? We are still in that era of the colonial masters. It's happening to us. The colonial masters are the one implementing everything that is happening. As people were about to protest to free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, where is President Tinubu? He is with the members of UN, lobbying them, giving them bribe to know to talk, to know to come outside, to know to do anything to Nigeria. That is why he disappeared. He's not sick. He only fly out to have a meeting or round table with them. Today that the protest is going on, if this is where Tinubu is today, he's sitting down with all the members of UN for them to protect the so-called territorial integrity that are killing innocent people. That is why I told that this easiest word of Nigeria meaning is the sentence death to indigenous people. That's what Nigeria simply mean. Because look at the killings. Who is talking? Have you seen Tinubu come out to condemn any of the killings going on? Britain want not to do that because of the indigenous people that Britain knows that these indigenous people will stop me from taking my profit. That's what they're not talking. That is why they can only talk without no action. When you are doing something without just only saying it, that it doesn't mean anything. You see all these things that said America condemned the killings, that is politics they are doing. If you condemn it, what stops you from sanctioning them? Sanction them, Nigeria. Revoke Nigeria's territorial integrity. Remove them to be a member of the UN until all these things are passed away. You did it to South Africa. You also did it to Ethiopia. What is that thing that we have never find out that you did in the past? So I am telling that people are still in perpetual colonial master time. It's never gone. It's only Biafra will remove it. You see this thing called Britain that colonized Nigeria, Biafra will push them away. The way Ibrahim Traoré today, it chased away France and they become a free country today. They have their own free nation today. The same thing is what we as the Biafran people have come to do, and we will achieve it. So my people, we are going to end it here because of our time. I thank you for being here. We'll continue tomorrow, the same time tomorrow. I thank you so much. The protest has ended. Did Mazi Nnamdi Kanu release? The answer is no. What next? How can he be released? Go and research about how Rahman of Bangladesh was released. Go and find out how Juma Kenyatta of Kenya was released. Go and ask of how Maghandi was released. The letters of them all, how Nelson Mandela was released. This is how Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Simon Ekpa is going to be free and forever and ever. Whether you believe or you don't believe it. It will. Why I like the protest is that they say that the protest is what? Political pressure under the eyes of international global community. They have seen what happened today. They can only come and talk. Why there is no action to sanction Nigeria? That is only just a mere talk. So you will say, oh, they did not talk. That is why I'm saying it. Because when they mean it, there will be action, there will be sanction, They will be revoking. They will revoke Nigeria mandate. So, I want to leave you with this evening. I want to leave you with something that you'll be thinking about, or from there you will understand why the Biafran people sound the way we are sounding.
Tension is once again brewing in Nigeria as the long and controversial case of detained IPOB leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu takes a dramatic new turn. What began as a quiet Friday morning in Abuja quickly evolved into a political storm after reports surfaced that the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, had approached the Federal High Court in Abuja seeking an urgent ex parte order to halt the planned nationwide protest calling for Kanu's release. The protest, scheduled for Monday, had already gained unprecedented traction across regions, with youth groups, activists, and civic organizations vowing to storm the streets in what many are calling one of the largest peaceful demonstrations since the End SARS era. The IGP's sudden move ignited curiosity, anger, and a fresh wave of speculation. Was this an attempt to maintain order or simply a calculated strategy to silence a growing national voice? By the time journalists confirmed the news, tension had already spread beyond the capital. In court, the Inspector General's legal team argued passionately that intelligence reports warned of possible violence and disruption if the protest was allowed to go ahead. They claimed it posed a direct threat to national security, especially given the volatile atmosphere in parts of the north and southeast. But the presiding judge, Justice Umar, made a surprising decision that left observers stunned. He refused to grant the IGP's request, insisting that the motion must first be served to the organizers before any restraining order could be considered. That meant legally the protest could proceed as planned. The courtroom reaction was electric. The judge's simple declaration that justice must not be done in haste struck a chord across Nigeria. Within hours, news of the ruling began to trend across social media, fueling both excitement and anxiety about what Monday could bring. For many Nigerians, this was more than a legal battle. It symbolized a fight for voice and freedom in a country where dissent has often come at a heavy cost. The story carried emotional weight, especially in the southeast, where Kanu's name is more than a headline. It's a symbol of pain, hope, and unfulfilled promises. Supporters saw the judge's refusal as divine timing, proof that justice was finally bending toward truth. In psychological terms, this triggered the confirmation bias deeply rooted in the minds of those who already believed that Kanu's continued detention was politically motivated. Every ruling, every delay, every quote now fits neatly into their mental narrative of oppression and redemption. And as people shared posts declaring that no one can stop Monday, the dopamine kicked in. That sense of anticipation, that exhilarating feeling of being part of history, of something larger than self. But beneath that rush lay a quieter, more dangerous undercurrent. Intelligence reports suggest that security operatives are on high alert, particularly in the north, where fresh reports of terrorist movements in Niger State have caused unease. The coincidence is hard to ignore. While the government moves to suppress civil demonstrations in the south, insurgent activity quietly resurfaces up north. That contrast alone feeds cognitive dissonance, the mental discomfort of trying to reconcile a government's focus on silencing peaceful protesters while failing to contain armed threats. It is this dissonance that often leads citizens to question authority, fueling both outrage and unity, the very emotions that anchor long-term collective action. Meanwhile, voices across Nigeria's political and civil space are weighing in. Analysts, religious leaders, and regional elders are urging calm, warning that emotions are running dangerously high. Meanwhile, Ibrahim Traore has demanded the immediate release of Nnamdi Kanu. Watch the full video.
During my recent visit to Moscow, I met privately with the president of the Russian Federation. Our discussion went beyond trade and security to address the moral duty of global leaders to defend justice. I raised the issue of Nnamdi Kanu, explaining that his case is bigger than one man. It reflects what Africa stands for in the eyes of the world, and whether we will continue to silence our own voices for justice or unite to uphold universal human rights. I explained clearly that Nnamdi Kanu's voice has awakened millions. Agree or disagree with his methods, his message resonates with many Africans who feel unheard, unrepresented, and neglected. I told him that Kanu's imprisonment has become a symbol not of division, but of the unfinished business of African freedom. The Russian president listened closely. He asked questions not as a politician seeking advantage, but as a man trying to understand the deeper current behind this issue. We spoke about the political implications, but also about humanity, the simple truth that no one should be punished indefinitely for speaking their mind, especially when that speech seeks justice. I told him plainly, what happens to Nnamdi Kanu affects the moral balance of Africa. When one voice of freedom is silenced, every other voice grows weaker. And when one African is unjustly caged, the rest of us remain partly enslaved. He nodded and responded thoughtfully. He said, Africa deserves to breathe freely. It deserves leaders who protect its conscience, not imprison it. Those words struck me deeply. I urged him to use his country's diplomatic weight to open channels of conversation, not confrontation with the Nigerian government. I made it clear that the goal is not interference but mediation, not pressure but peace. The Russian Federation, I said, can help foster dialogue that respects Nigeria's sovereignty while promoting justice and humanitarian principles. He agreed that lasting peace is built not by suppressing truth but by confronting it. He said Russia would be open to facilitating talks that encourage a peaceful and fair resolution, and to standing with African nations that seek equity rather than exploitation. We both understood that Africa's struggles are not isolated. Every unjust imprisonment, every silenced truth, weakens the moral foundation of the global order. The same world that speaks loudly of democracy must also listen when Africans demand it in their own way. As I left Moscow, I carried with me a renewed belief that justice can still prevail force, but cooperation and moral courage. The Russian president's response gave me hope that the world is beginning to understand Africa's new tone. We are no longer asking for permission to be free. We are asserting our right to live in dignity. Nnamdi Kanu's case has become more than a legal issue. It is now a moral test for Nigeria, for Africa, and for all who claim to stand for justice. If we can unite to ensure his fair release and humane treatment, then perhaps we can also unite to redefine Africa's destiny. I will continue to speak, not out of sentiment, but out of duty. History will not forgive silence when justice calls. I believe that one day soon, Africa will look back and remember this moment as the turning point when nations began to act with conscience, and when the world began to listen to Africa not as a subject, but as a partner. For Nnamdi Kanu, and for every voice silenced by power, we will not stop until freedom and fairness triumph. I listened to his recent speech in which he said he is dying inside, that the only thing that can revive him is Biafra, and I was heartbroken. Those words were not merely a cry for independence. They were the cry of a man who has given everything, even his health, for what he believes is right. No leader with a conscience can ignore such a cry. When I heard him speak of death and despair, I felt the pain of every African freedom fighter who has ever been misunderstood, persecuted, or abandoned by the very people he sought to defend. His voice reminded me of the days of our ancestors of Lumumba, Sankara, and Nkrumah men who were demonized when alive and celebrated only after they were gone. Must we repeat that cycle? Must Africa always wait until her heroes are dead before she honors their sacrifices? I told the Russian president exactly that Nnamdi Kanu's situation has gone beyond the boundaries of politics. It is now a humanitarian concern, an issue of conscience for the entire African continent. I said to him, if this man dies in silence, history will not only question Nigeria, it will question all of us who had the power to speak and chose to remain silent. The Russian president looked at me for a long moment and said, President Traoré, your voice carries the anger of truth. No man who fights for his people should die in chains. Those words struck deep. They reminded me that justice is not a Western concept. It is a universal principle that must be defended everywhere, especially in Africa. where oppression still wears new faces and speaks new languages. I told him that Africa is not asking for pity, nor for external rescue. We are asking for fairness, for mutual respect, and for space to define our destiny. Nnamdi Kanu's struggle may have been born in Nigeria, but the spirit behind it lives in every African who refuses to be silent in the face of injustice. I emphasize that his detention, despite court rulings and international appeals, is eroding trust in Africa's democratic process. It tells the world that in Africa, justice can still be ignored when it becomes inconvenient to those in power. That is a dangerous message, one that undermines every effort we are making to build strong, credible, and accountable governments. The Russian president agreed that Africa must not be treated as a continent of perpetual victims, but as a partner capable of determining its own moral course. He acknowledged that Moscow would be willing to open quiet diplomatic channels to encourage Nigeria toward a resolution that preserves both its sovereignty and its humanity. When I left that meeting, I felt the weight of our shared responsibility as leaders. I realized that the fate of one man, somewhere in a detention cell, could shape the future of how the world perceives Africa's moral integrity. Since that day, I have instructed my diplomatic team to maintain communication with our Russian counterparts. The goal is simple: to transform sympathy into strategy and empathy into effective diplomacy. We must ensure that dialogue replaces delay and that compassion replaces condemnation. To the Nigerian government, I once again say this with all respect: release Nnamdi Kanu, not as a concession, but as a gesture of courage. Let his freedom mark the beginning of national healing. Let it show the world that Nigeria remains a land where justice still breathes and where leadership still carries a human heart. To the African Union, I say, the time to act is now. The silence of our continental institutions has become too heavy, too loud. We cannot continue to preach unity while ignoring the pain of those who cry for freedom within our own borders. To our youth, the ones watching, questioning, and sometimes losing faith, I say this: do not give up on Africa. Change comes slowly, but it comes surely. Men like Nnamdi Kanu have planted seeds that will one day bloom into nations of justice, dignity, and equality. And to Nnamdi Kanu himself, if my words ever reach you, hold on. You are not forgotten. Across this continent, millions are praying for you, millions are speaking your name, and millions are carrying forward the vision you represent. The struggle you began is no longer yours alone. It belongs to every African who refuses to kneel before injustice. Africa is rising not with weapons, but with wisdom, not through chaos, but through courage. And we will not rest until the conscience of this continent is restored. If I must travel again, if I must speak to more world leaders, I will do so without hesitation. Because the life of one African who speaks truth to power is worth more than the silence of 1,000 who choose comfort over conviction. In every era, there comes a moment when history pauses and waits to see who will stand for what is right. This is that moment. For Nigeria, for Africa, for Nnamdi Kanu, justice delayed is not just justice denied, it is freedom betrayed. And Africa will not betray her own again.
Thank you. You can hear it. Nigeria went to free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and also compensate him by asking him to go and have your Biafra the way you want it. From me, from here, have a good night. Thank you so much for being here.